Hello, everyone. My name is Roger Rugi, and I'm a mentor with Pathfinder Resilience. And I'm here in the cognitive domain to talk to you about what I think is the lowest hanging fruit, enhancing our sleep. And on this video, we're going to talk about some ideas to quiet the monkey mind, right? Because, oh my goodness, we are so stimulated these days. We have so much information and things happening all the time. We're engaged right up to our sleep period. We have very little buffer between our waking self and winding down into sleep. We don't really wind down anymore. We just kind of hit the wall and go, oh, I got to go to sleep. Well, one of the things that I want to do is to help you really quiet that monkey mind. Now, this is huge for those of us who have difficulty falling asleep, which is a large number of people. And even more people are seeming to be affected by waking up in the middle of the night. They've had enough rest and the mind wakes up and off they go, right? The monkey mind wants to solve the world's problems. And that's pretty annoying when you're trying to get yourself back to sleep. So here's a couple of things we can do. If you are having trouble with your sleep quality and you don't have enough time to get that 7.5 to 8 hour window, one of the things you can do is to take a power nap during the day. By restoring ourselves with a little bit of a power nap in the day, it tends to quiet the thinking mind at night as well, right? Because we're not all really wound up. We got a little bit of relief some point in our day, and that tends to quiet the mind when we actually go for our main sleep period. To enhance your nap, try to keep it under an hour. 30 to 45 minutes is ideal. If we go too far beyond that, we can have a little too much rest in the middle of the day, and that can keep us up at night as well. So the sweet spot is about a half hour to 45 minutes, and that power nap will be restorative. It'll absolutely add to your overall sleep. Nice. The other thing that we can do is to develop some form of a mindfulness practice prior to our sleep period. In fact, many people will use a mindfulness practice to fall asleep. What does that look like? Oh my goodness, it's unlimited, friends. You can go over to some technology, for example, put a set of headphones on that are designed to take you through a guided sleep meditation, for example, to help you fall asleep. That's one way to do it. You could develop a meditation practice or a breathwork practice, and we're going to have a lot of those modalities for you. But that's something very simple, is to do a mindfulness practice that allows the mind to begin to disconnect from the day, right? That's really what we're trying to do here, is just to get it to turn off so that we can relax and then we can fall asleep. Now, the other thing that we can do is exercise, right? Exercising really helps to burn off some of the stress hormones we've accumulated through the day, the primary one being cortisol. As we're under stress, we're producing that cortisol stress hormone, and that can really keep us up at night if we've had a lot of stress going on. So if we exercise, awesome, we take some of that out of the body, that'll help us to burn off some of that excess energy, quiet the mind, and we fall asleep. As a sidebar to that, try to end your exercise period 3 to 2 hours prior to sleeping for obvious reasons. You're elevating your physiology, right? We don't want to just work out right away and then say, okay, now it's time for sleep. Not going to work. But within a couple of hours of your sleep period, if you end your exercise, awesome. Here's another one that most people overlook. Our minds are problem-solving machines. It's an amazing tool. But one of the challenges with it is it wants to solve these problems all the time. And when we finally get to a point where we're settling in for sleep, that's often when the mind says, ooh, I have time to solve that other stuff I didn't get to work on today. Oh, that can be frustrating. I know this one super well because my mind loves to solve problems. So one of the things that's really been helpful for me, you can keep your phone next to your bed. I do recommend turning it on to airplane mode so that you don't have the electronic stimulation that some of us are very sensitive to. But you could record a voice memo when you have an idea download. The problem with the brain is if we don't benchmark that somewhere, it wants to remember it. So it tends to hold on to the thought that it had unless we write it down somewhere so it knows, yeah, we can go back to that later and pick that thread up. So a little voice memo on your phone might be one way to do it. Or what I prefer is I keep a little notepad next to my bed and a pen. And when I wake up and I have an idea that I don't want to lose, it could be a really good idea, right? And I also want to let my mind let it go. I just scribble down a couple of keywords. I don't write a novel. I just write a couple of keywords that'll jog my memory in the morning, and then I can pick that thread up then. That's been wonderful for me and many of the people that I've worked with in enhancing sleep. So those are all ways that we can really kind of help our mind slow down at night. Again, taking a little bit of a power nap between 30 and 45 minutes, somewhere in that game. We can keep a notepad next to the bed, use a voice memo on our phone so we don't lose the thoughts. We can practice some form of mindfulness as a way to fall asleep. And there's lots of technology like we talked about. I'll bring some of that in a future video here that we can talk about ways that we can use tech to actually help us fall asleep. Now, I know I said remove all the tech out of your room if possible. Yes, and there are some really excellent technologies out there now that are actually designed to put our brain into a brainwave frequency that drops us into deep sleep. I'm a big fan of it. So the tech, when used properly, can enhance us. And again, as a general rule, we want to remove most of it out of our room because it's going to stimulate us. That's not what we want. All right. I'm going to see you at the next video with some more sleep tips.